And let's give it up, y'all, for Miss Michelle Love.
Thank you. Sorry, y'all. Had a little reunion there with somebody I know. So how's it going, China Grove? So, my name's Michelle Love. I was asked to come here tonight to talk to you about my son, BJ. BJ was 11 years old when he was diagnosed with acute lymphoblastic leukemia, and that is the most curable and most common type of childhood cancer. Brought some pictures. This is one of BJ right after he was diagnosed, and we were in the hospital for 7 days initially. And I tell you, football is what brought out his that he was having problems. He was a football player for Boger City Panthers in around Lincolnton area, and he wasn't doing quite as well as the other kids in the conditioning part of practice, and it never got any better. It actually got worse. So I got him to the doctor, and the next morning she called and told me to take him to the emergency department as soon as I could. When we got down there, they did some blood tests, and his hemoglobin was 5.8. It's supposed to be between 12 and 16. So we kind of waited around to figure out what was going on, and a little while later, a couple of people with badges came in the emergency room, and I read their badges, and my heart sank. It said hematology, oncology, and I knew what that meant. BJ was really mature for his age and didn't want me to leave the room. He wanted me to stay there with him and listen to whatever it was the doctor had to say, but I went down the hallway with them, and they told me that they were 99% sure that my child had cancer. I'm an optimist. That 1%, that's what I lived on. Unfortunately, it was true. 99% was the odds we were given, and he was immediately admitted into Levine Children's Hospital and given a blood transfusion, which put all the color back into his face. It's amazing what blood can do, and I hope every one of you guys out there that can give blood, I hope you consider giving blood, because it is a lifesaver. If it's not a lifesaver, it is a time giver, and I, as a mom, can't thank the people who donate blood enough to have given me the time that I had with my son. BJ, like I said, he played football, and so he also was a basketball player, and when he was diagnosed, he was in the 6th grade. We fought and fought and fought, had some really, really rough times. His leukemia was pretty bad. He was actually given a very, very high chance for a relapse. But in the 7th grade, he went back to school, and he went back to playing sports. And this is the 8th grade year. He played football for North Lincoln Middle School. He was looking healthier, and we were happy, and he was still doing chemo. He still has cancer in this picture. He was on the maintenance phase, and we had a regular visit to go down to the hospital to get a chemo infusion, and we were so happy because I realized that we only had 7 more visits left. Well, that day, the doctor came back into the room after his blood test, and he said he needed to send his blood off down to the lab for a little bit more testing, and he said we could go ahead and go home, but that he would call me. So we waited for that phone call, and it came, and we found out that day that BJ's cancer had actually come back, and it was into his bloodstream, which meant that the leukemia had crowded out inside of his bone marrow and was into his bloodstream, which was really bad. So that started a huge fight. He had every single chemo that he could have had, and nothing worked. The plan at that point was to get him to a bone marrow transplant, and that never happened. He was given the opportunity to participate in a clinical trial at Duke. And let me tell you, BJ was a Tar Heel fan. I don't know if y'all are... All right, we got some. So that was kind of tough to be Tar Heel fans in the Duke world, but BJ, being the kind of person he was, he just laughed at it and told the doctors that he would have them converted by the time we left there. The thing is, the clinical trial didn't work, and we came back to Charlotte on December 9th of 2015, and the doctor met us in the hospital room, and they told us that there was nothing left to do. And I am not only an optimist, but I'm a fighter, and I don't give up, and neither did my son. We had a pact that we wouldn't give up. So when the doctor said, I have 3 options, we could do this new immunotherapy trial, which was really too risky for BJ at that point. But there was an option to do some steroids, which could hopefully cut down some of his white blood cells, or do nothing. I kind of laughed when he said do nothing, because I was like, you know who I am, because we've been fighting for the last 3 years together, right? So we didn't do nothing. We stayed and we fought, and BJ responded to the steroids, and his white blood cell count came down enough to where he could do that risky blinatumomab. Man, when you get in this world of cancer, you find yourself saying all kinds of words that you would never think that you'd ever even be able to pronounce, let alone spell, but that becomes normal to you. BJ had a couple of rounds of that blinatumomab, and the day after we came back from Duke, somehow Navy SEALs got a hold of his story. BJ wanted to be a Navy SEAL when he grew up. He was a country boy. He liked to fish and hunt and just be outside. And so these Navy SEALs got a hold of his story and came to Levine and presented him with a plaque that said he was an honorary Navy SEAL of SEAL Team 8. And those guys never left his life. They came and visited at the hospital, and they were amazing and supportive, and so we still have that connection in our life, and really appreciated them to come and support us like they did. But we spent Christmas in the hospital, and then on February 20th of 2016, we were told for the 3rd time that there was nothing left to do, and so we went home. Hospice came in. When you're dealing with kids, it's not called hospice. They try to make it sound a little better, and it's called Kids Path. So Kids Path came and started to take care of BJ at our house, and he lasted for 15 more days. His birthday was March the 4th of 2016, and we had a party on March the 5th. On March the 6th, early that morning, and looking up about like this, my son woke me up, and I knew something wasn't right. I called Kids Path, and for some reason nobody answered, so I called 911. Lincoln County EMS showed up, and we took him to the hospital down to Levine, and he needed blood. His hemoglobin at that point was 3. But also at that point, he didn't have a blood type. He had had so many blood transfusions that he didn't have a blood type anymore. So they were struggling with finding the right type of blood and the right filtered blood to give to him, and in the process moved us to the PICU department, and that's where my son lived. We were in the room and he fought until the very end. My daughter is here tonight. She's 13 years old right now. She was 11 when she watched her brother die. And BJ was just 15 years old. And so in his memory, and just for my own survival, 6 months later, we formed a foundation called the Stand Firm Warrior Foundation. We believe toward the end there, we had gotten some information that there could have been something besides chemotherapy that could have helped him. So that became our mission. And BJ's Story went worldwide. Deborah Norville picked it up with Inside Edition, and the Navy SEALs had it. Just went worldwide, and his story went, well, his faith went with it, and that is a huge part of our story, is that his faith in God is what kept us strong. It's what keeps us strong today, and that's why we're still standing firm right now, is because of our faith in God and the strength that we get from that. And so with our foundation, we try to promote awareness for childhood cancer. We do a lot of gold games. Gold is the childhood cancer ribbon color, and we do a lot of things with sports teams in our area and our schools, and we get kids involved as much as possible. We have bags that we leave at hospitals for parents that found themselves in the position like I did. You could get your child to the hospital and you have nothing, so we provide these warrior grab and go bags that have toiletries in them, and just the basic things that you might need when you're staying overnight somewhere. We also have warrior packages for the kids who are fighting and their siblings, because we don't leave siblings out. Part of what we have done for, as far as our alternative push, is to fund some Reiki treatments at Levine Children's Hospital. Reiki is a new thing there. BJ was able to get Reiki treatments when he was at Levine, and he's the reason why it has taken off, because it helped him with his pain, and it helped him relax, and it helped him sleep. And so that's just some of the ways that we're giving back as a foundation, and to keep my son's memory alive. So I just want y'all to think about how you can help. I mean, there's so many ways that you can make a dent in this, with your money, with your blood, and supporting events like this. And thank you for just coming out and supporting this event for childhood cancer. That's it.